Hello, everyone. Welcome to Forge the Narrative. My name is Paul, your host. We all about Lost Souls podcast. I'm joined by Adam Camilleri,
Oh, g'day.
Red Powell, and Tanya Gates.
What up?
Hey, everybody.
Look, it has been a couple of weeks since we have been live and all back together, and I apologize. I want to say that in advance, but we have been all over the place. We had the Las Vegas Open, doing some streaming from there, had New York Comic-Con, had PAX Australia, and, anyway, just bouncing all around doing Warhammer related stuff. And I'm glad to be back. I'm very glad to be back hanging out with y'all. How's everybody doing?
I am pretty hype. I'm pretty happy right now, mate.
Yeah.
Cooking, brewing, writing lists, enjoying the game. I've played 2 games of Old World this week. Freaking lucky boy that I am. And yeah, just enjoying the hobby quite a bit more in recent months.
Well, that's always nice to hear. I mean, there's a lot. We're in a good spot 40K wise.
Yeah. Drukari just dropped, right? LVO is won by a list of 210 infantry. Like, what are the problems right now? We've got everything's going right. Everything's going right. Guard wins, right? Like, come on. How's the game not at the best point it's ever been at?
I would have, if I had to be, for the sheer story and memes, in my heart of hearts, I would have been totally okay with the Deathwatch winning, because that's 2 Deathwatch LVO wins in 1 year.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Wild.
Just a second. Is that Deathwatch in the finale of 2 events in Vegas? What are the odds? And is that now a fixture?
Well, yeah, we have
it's
to pretty
the best
much
army, right? Like, clearly, it can fight all the way through it all. Like, we understand. It's come on, tell me.
I think it's more.
Was it at the top table? Was it at the top table?
We just need to call Vegas something Deathwatch related, because it's clearly where their battle barge is settled. It hovers above Vegas.
The Omega Vault.
It's just raining down vets all over Vegas.
Tower. It's the watchtower.
They have Vegas on lock, is what we're saying.
I don't think anyone would have picked that Deathwatch. Basically being in the finals again. I know. So for those of you that don't know, Red plays Astra Militarum and Deathwatch as well.
Agents of the Imperium with 40 Deathwatch vets is
50 to 60 if you catch me on a good day.
So I know you were on the edge of your
pleb
seat.
Numbers.
Yeah. With that finale and that list of the Astra Militarum, it was 220 something guardsmen with a sentinel just to basically to bring it down for points. And then just a bunch of bouncing all around and full up on all the special weapons.
I mean,
if
you're not going to bring 6 Dorns, then you should bring 200 infantry, right? Like, just push hard. Doors going to open.
It's just interesting. So the Horde metas of 10th edition have almost been like sliding doors. It hasn't been a fixture point for more than a couple of months at a time. The ACDC Chaos Cult was the case in point, where 3 units of a cursed cultist with dark communes ACDC. They're like moments in time. They come past every 3 times a year. We'll get a Horde meta sliding door come past, and just everyone's like, "Oh my god! Give me. I just want 10 intercessors. I don't want 10 intercessors any other time of the year, but right now they're God mode." And it's really interesting to see, because we just came out of a heavily mechanized meta, or a meta that was more akin to, tanks, knights, etc., etc. So everyone's stacking all their guns. Fwagon and 10 fire dragons, feels very silly when you're playing 260 guardsmen.
Yeah, they do nothing. Your last cannon just kills 1.
Feels very silly. And so, these sliding door moments come past, and when they do, we're like, why don't we always play that? And then everyone's like, okay, get all the guns back in, all the bulk guns, stack them back in. Grey Knight players are salivating.
Well, do y'all think this will cause a snap back to that? Because major events like this absolutely always influence something. I'm not saying they completely change what the next is. They influence something. Do we think that there's going to be a shift towards more of that style? And Astra Militarum are not the only ones that can do it. Like Gene Stealer cults have been a thing for a long time. They still didn't make it, all the way this deep or whatever. And there are other things that can accomplish this type of thing, but have not.
So we have Guard, Chaos Cults can still absolutely do it. We have Demons to a lesser extent. There was actually a list from WTC. The list that came first, as in the highest scoring list at the WTC in the teams event, was a Horde Demon list with like 60 horrors and plague bearers and all this stuff, and it's just absolute nonsense. So there are different variants out there. In fact, there was another variant. There's Horde World Eaters out there as well, where you run like 80 to 90 berserkers. And I'm sure Red's just like, all my factions.
Also, the army, that he plays.
I mean, we're in my vein right now, and like let the snapback happen, Paul. Let the meta go back and forth. I mean, this is stuff that I've been putting on the table that we like. The people that are playing this stuff, it's not just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna meta this or meta that or whatever. A lot of it is this is not something that a lot of them have just played off on the first time ever or whatever. They're not chasing anything. They're playing these armies that they know that they've got the competency and the proficiency in, and it's showing. And they're playing with and into the meta to their own degree, but they're also like, again, like you said, okay, well, what's Death Guard can do it, but can they stop all that? Like, I don't think so. Knights can try, but I don't think they can stop all that.
They couldn't that day. And a phenomenal player too, by the way. We're talking about the list and how the list will potentially influence other people that take it that is inspiration, but also absolutely just phenomenal play the entire way.
I just wonder. I think that it takes a lot of fortitude to play a Horde army, especially when you look at Guard or Demons as a Horde army. It takes fortitude in a number of ways. One, you have to have amazing core strength to lean over the table to push that many models around, but also traveling to these big events with that many models is a feat in itself. You're transporting all those models from table to table. Like, I'm not sure that the meta will ever truly shift hard into these kind of armies, just because of the amount of work and preparation that it takes to actually
logistics. Yeah, it could be. And the hobby lag, that's like another thing to point out, is like, even can you get that many infantry ready by World Championships of Warhammer is coming up here in just a couple of weeks.
And straight up, it's not a playstyle that appeals to everybody. I mean, we have Red, and you can see what kind of person Red is. Look at Red, look at yourself, look at Red, and like, am I Red? You might be, in which case do it. But if you're not, don't. Because I've done Horde armies as well.
I love a good Horde army.
And they're not for everybody.
Zombie Horde, Catachin Horde, Poxwalker Horde.
8th edition, start of 8th edition, 200 conscripts and the pistol. Remember?
Yeah.
No one's running away today, boys. Everyone's staying right where they are. Because you could make them all fearless with just one enhancement, and you would blob them all up for a CP every turn. You'd add another 30 conscripts to the blob, pile it on in, and have one unit of like over 100 dudes. And I played that like for a year, and I've never gone back. Not once. I gone back there. I was burnt out all the Horde cells in my body.
But good on those players. Just touching on the Death Watch player too, that made it in the finals as well. Has not gone to many tournaments and had recently only started playing in the last 2 or 3 years. I don't know about started playing, but definitely started playing within the last maybe 4 years or so, and has not traveled to many tournaments. And to get there and to go through all those competitors and to be in the finals, that was impressive.
It was, very was. I forgot to mention Orcs. Green Tide is on the rise as well as a very, very good competitive option.
Oh, good point. But maybe that's it. This living, breathing ecosystem we talk about is that everyone was all prepared for dealing with vehicles, and they're like, "Ha ha!"
Yep.
You're
melted. The counter meta comes right around and kicks you in the butt, because you thought you had exactly the silver bullet, and then the werewolf changes into like, I don't know, a vampire, and you're like, silver, it does nothing.
This event was using clocks too, so they were not slow playing. They weren't stalling people out. They were playing the games and getting the work done and getting the points.
Well, that's exactly right. A lot of people play 40k for the interaction of my models into yours. The Guard army and I suppose the previous versions of the GSC army would have been the most interactive hordes we've seen this edition, whereas things like the Chaos Cults literally just like, all right, turn one, I'm on all the objectives. And I sit. And that doesn't like endear itself to many players who love the back and forth, the interaction, the trading, the bits and pieces. And so I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody to run out and buy a horde army, but if you have the spine for it, give it a crack. It might be a skill set that's right up your alley. It might be like chalk and cheese at the same time, or toothpaste.
You do play a different game, like a different style of game. You very much are. Positioning, I'm doing everything to have layers and layers and also focused on the objectives almost keenly, because it's like, how many of your units do you commit over there and how many do you commit over there?
Yeah. So a lot of people look at Horde as an overwhelm style of gameplay. It's actually not. It's a control style where you want to control the entire table and have absolute knowledge of what everything can hit, what they can't hit, what they can and can't interact with. A lot of people see hordes. I suppose the Green Tide would be the example of the overwhelm strategy, where it's like, all right, turn 2, 100 boys. What do you got? And that's a style of horde that might appeal to more people who like that interactive style. But yeah, the guard list that we saw Nemo play is pretty much a tempo game. It's like, I'm gonna double move over here to block that rapid ingress while I take this objective with 20 guys that can be OC a million, and you're not going to be able to deal with that one and deal with this one. You can only deal with one, which means you can't both rapid ingress and flip the objective. And at the same time, I'm going to re-rack another squad, so I can do it again next turn, and yada yada. It's all about control.
So I'm gonna segue us into a little bit here, talk about armies that can deal with lots of different play styles and army lists, and that would be the good old Adeptus Astartes. And the Adeptus Astartes have gotten a bit of a I guess an infusion of new detachments and new units in the form of these powerful heroes that also have some detachments that they fit pretty nicely into. And I'd like to talk about the Iron Hands first. The Iron Hands and old Canuck Var. Who is a brand new character and with a brand new detachment, the Hammer of Averni or Averni? Averni? Yeah. Averni. It's got to be Averni or Averni. Has to be. Can't be Averni. I don't know. We'll have to check with the lexiconum with that. But if I can, let's talk about Canuck Var for a second, who is a Terminator. Toughness 5, 2+ save, 4+ invulnerable, 6 wounds, OC of 1. Has the ranged weapon Stormbolter. Sounds good so far, right? Then melee weapons, Axiom, strike, and a sweep profile. And I love to talk about that. Anytime you see a strike and a sweep profile on a 40 or 50 millimeter base, I think that you're that says something about the quality of the character.
Yeah, pretty happy.
The strike is 5 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 8, neg 2 AP, 2 damage apiece, and the sweep is 10 attacks, strength 5, neg 2 AP, 1 damage. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Cold and calculating. Each time a model in this model's unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle unit, that attack has the lethal hits ability. Each time a model in this model's unit makes an attack that targets any other unit, that attack has this sustained hits 1 ability. Cerebric's Logic Engine is the next thing. At the start of the declare battle formation step, you can select one Adeptus Astartes infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the battle, that unit gains Scout 6. That's any Adeptus Astartes infantry unit. Get Scout 6.
He's bringing a lot of value. And but wait, there's more. There's the Steak Knives.
There is. After both players have deployed their armies, you can select one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army and redeploy it. When doing so, you can set that unit up in strategic reserves if you wish. This model can lead Terminator assault squads and Terminator squads.
That wasn't even the Steak Knives I was meaning.
Oh, I was getting to the next bit.
Love it.
What's your Steak Knives?
So the detachment that they've given to Iron Hands comes with a carrier similar to how Shrike goes.
I was going with the Feel No Pain 5+. That's what I was.
Oh, it's a lot of Steak Knives.
That's a lot of Steak Knives.
Right? It's not Steak Knives. It's a full dining set. So the detachment, I'll just jump ahead because this is another part of his package uniquely, which comes with the new upskinned detachment you get access to. Recalculating, which is once per battle round, after your Oath of Moment target is destroyed, if Canuck Va from your army is on the battlefield, select one enemy unit visible to Canuck. That enemy unit then becomes your Oath of Moment. So he's giving you a redeploy, a scout, a sledgehammer in Terminator armor, and the ability to proc a second oath. It's actually freaking giving you a bit of everything. The only thing it doesn't do is shoot. It does everything else except shoot well, which is good, because if you shot well, it might be too good.
He makes your entire army shoot well against 2 units.
Yeah. He's very good. I think he's very good.
Yeah, I don't think it's like, busted or anything like that. I think this is a cool character that, when you slot it into this this formation, you might make some really powerful, cool combos.
So I'm going to throw a huge bone to Games Workshop because they have obviously put a lot of thought into this. Who remembers Iron Hands being problematic last edition?
I remember. Sure, for 2 editions, they created some heartburn.
Since 6th edition, my man, they've been busted at some point since 6th edition.
I always like the people who jump in and are like, "I've always been a huge Iron Hands fan." Like, okay, yeah, love that one.
6th, 7th, Medusa's Chain. Remember, boys?
Gorgon's Chain. The Gorgon's
Chain. Yeah.
Sorry, it was. Sorry, Sons of Medusa. And then 8th edition we had Iron Hands being problematic, and then 9th edition we had Iron Hands. So what I didn't want to see here, because the logical detachment for them to build an Iron Hands version of is Ironstorm. What's already been a problem this edition? Ironstorm. So juicing up an Ironstorm with double oath potential of Canuck Va, scouting and redeploying and all the other goodness, I was like, please no. Please no. Guess what they didn't do? They did not do that. And kudos to them for that foresight. Because if you just added 10% more juice, like if you just added Canuck and Canuck's special rule, the ability to double oath and all the value he brings to an Ironstorm, it's already very, very good, let alone if it got 10%, 20% better because they reskinned it more to act a bit more Iron Handsy. It would be terrifying.
Look, some of these enhancements, though, are real good. And I want to talk about the steel font. The Adeptus Astartes Terminator model only. While this bear is leading a unit in your command phase, you can return 1 destroyed bodyguard model to that unit.
It's essentially allowing you to upgrade any Terminator character to be a Terminator Apothecary in addition.
Yeah.
I think it's very good, very good. The one above it and the one above that, the Medusan's Roar and, more of the Iron Laurel, I'm also a fan of as well, which is improve the objective control characteristic of the bearer by 1, then once per game, improve the objective control of the unit by 1. So once per game. And the timing is the best timing that you have for these things. It's once per battle, but at the start of any phase. So you have full control, full knowledge control of whether you made that charge, your opponent made that charge, which objectives they drew, and when you want to flip or not flip an objective on your opponent, etc.
And you do check control at every phase too, so there could be relevant things that you care about for that.
Yeah, you check control at the start and end of every phase. So it's the perfect timing. That any phase timing is really, really good there. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Not too bad at all. I think Iron Hands players, are got to be pleased with this. What do y'all think about the detachments having to, but basically encouraging you to take the special characters?
So it's a very I'm gonna say straight up another bone to G-Dub. I think at some point Games Workshop went and they looked at all the vanilla Astartes. I say vanilla Astartes, the Codex compliant Astartes chapters, and then they're like, why is everyone only playing the blue ones? And they're playing the blue ones because they have 5 special characters that all do amazing things: Tiggy, Kato, Calgar, Gilliman, and Ventress. And they're like, cool, they have 5 special characters that add unique twists and turns on their army rule, including they're the only one with a Primarch. So how do we boost up the others to make them compete? And we've already seen them do it they've done it 3 different times this edition. Now they've brought out another special character for each one of them. which adds another wrinkle. They've brought out a data slate change, giving them extra OC on a faction-specific unit, jump pack intercessors for, Raven Guard, etc. And now for taking the special characters to add them another juice on top of those for the ones they just added, they're giving you pretty much an extra army rule.
I love it because this is a bonus detachment. You can still take whatever your Iron Hands flavor in any other detachment you want. This is just another detachment added to the mix, and happens to also be like a home for this cool character.
Yeah,
if you choose to make it that way.
It's just giving them more identity to the game as well. So even though sure, everyone else in the entire game that isn't an Astartes player is like, oh, another Astartes detachment. Why did the rich get richer? I don't disagree with that sentiment, but I am also here to champion playing actual salamanders, playing actual white scars this edition. Like, yes, you can do it, and you should feel good about it.
You want to talk about some of the stratagems that we got here?
Blue sucks.
Oh my goodness. Armor of Contempt is a Space Marine hallmark that is in this detachment.
It's a good time. There are some very good strats here. So this is a reskin First Company Task Force, if you didn't clue in on it. So most of it's pretty much all predicated around Dreadnoughts, Terminators, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, and Vanguard veteran squad. So anything that you assume is in that veteran ideology. So that's what you want to build your army around. Good news. Most of those units are good right now. Redemptors, Ballistas, they're Dreadnoughts. Terminator's just got brand new freaking models. They look gorgeous.
Blade Guard.
Blade Guard are good right now. Stern Guard are good right now. Vanguard veterans are cheap as chips. So you should want to take those as well. And pretty much every one of these stratagems keys off those. The first of the new ones, Ruthless Butchery, 1 CP. It's shooting a fight phase, any of the units I just delineated. And to the end of the phase, each time model unit makes an attack, +1 to hit. If your unit is below starting strength, +1 to wound also. Just 1 CP +1 to hit is already the going rate for a 1 CP stratagem. But then having a rider that, like, when the chips are down, you get +1 to wound as well. Very nice.
Not like if you're just below starting strength.
Yeah, one guy down. Yeah.
That's pretty good for 1 CP to get 2 abilities out of that.
They have one command point. It's very weird timing, but it's in your opponent's charge phase. Just after enemy ends a charge move, one of the units, delineated one of those veteran units, gets -1 damage. Very nice on assault terminators with storm shields. Go into that 4 wounds with -, damage becomes very awkward for a lot of different profiles out there. All of a sudden, 4 damage profiles, which you'd usually be like, oh, this is really good versus me, is just like, nah, you're not that good. And then one of the ones I'm most a fan of, because I think it's the one that works with Canuck the best, is Dropship Extraction, which is the end of your opponent's flight phase. You beam out a Terminator unit, so you go back into reserve with the Terminator. So you can use a Canuck's ability by jumping him up and down all over the board. He doesn't have to affect your charge or something like that. You can just use him
because his ability is line of sight too. Is thing
Correct.
that keys off from this detachment is because line of sight, and so being able to draw something else if you need to or want to or whatever is pretty cool for having that kind of in your back pocket. Although I feel like this detachment may get command point thirsty a little bit.
It really will.
The Dominator Beacon is another good one. This is one that essentially lets you keep control of objective. Even if you aren't on it, you activate that in your movement phase.
Yeah, another good one. They have a good stratagem suite. To be honest, they've upskilled a couple. They've left a couple in. There's also a fight phase one for 1 CP, either sustained or lethal hits. You have to pick your poison. And of course, when you're triggering, say, in your movement phase, so in your shooting phase, you kill your Oath of Moment target, and then theoretically Canuck, points at another unit that you're going to effect a charge into, 1 command point, get a lethal or sustained with a full reroll to hit package, can really help things pop off.
A lot of timing things to happen here, which will sound like it'll be fun to play with.
Yeah, a lot of unique timing things as well.
Like
which
the one that Dropship Extractor you just did, it's in your opponent's fight phase. Like they're and you can't be in engagement range. So I don't know. Maybe that means you've killed everyone in your engagement range with, and then you beam up as a little bit of insult to injury or something like that.
Well, it's also a get a jail free card for Canuck. Like if he's in a unit of, because I like the idea, if you're going to use him just as like a locator beacon for your second oath, just him and 5 Terminators, just jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. And yeah, I mean, the chips are down. They try and kill Cannock and maybe use a CP or something to get him through, or a minus damage, and then you just start beaming back up again. And he's just a single model, very hard to screen out now, giving you a second oath, jumping all over the place. I like it a lot.
You saying just Cannock just by himself, like forget joining Terminator units, just be like, hey, deal with me.
Correct. It's a legitimate option, I believe. I believe him just by himself is not a bad idea. Yeah. Because
that's tough. Yes, I think that's relying a lot on the 5+ feel no pain.
It is. He's
not low operative.
So for his points, he is quite cheap. For his points, if you get 2 oaths out of him, and he gave you a scout and a redeploy, and he gave you 2 extra oaths, I think he's absolutely paid himself back. He's absolutely paid back his points. And he's, like I said, he's a 2-up, 4-up, T5, 6 wound, 5-up feel no pain. He has a pseudo 8 wounds that you need to do. Pseudo. We call it because they're not quite there on his profile, but usually you'll on 6 dice, you'll roll 2 5s. If you're lucky. I'm not. But these are the averages. And these are the things people have to have in their head. Well, what if he spikes? And this game, he's got 10 wounds.
So we did kind of jump right into the special ability of the recalculating, but the detachment rule is calculated annihilation, and this may have people get more behind what you're describing right now. Is that each time a model from your army with the Oath of Moment ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, you can re-roll a wound roll of 1.
So, and it's now enshrined that these are true Codex Astartes detachments, so you will get +1 to wound as well. So you have Oath of Moment that you put on a unit, you'll get 4 rolls to hit, roll 1s to wound, and +1 to wound. And then Cannock will do that for you again. It's huge, enormous amount of value. It's literally, you're dead. It's literally cool. This one's dead, and then Cannock's like, oh yeah, and that one over there is dead too. It's very good.
But it is line of sight, though. So we're talking about like in that perfect storm situation. And if you're using what is like the Games Workshop match play terrain, lanes of fire do actually matter.
Yeah, that's why I think you need to keep him dynamic, moving around the table. Yeah.
What are some best supporting units that could take advantage of that? I mean, like Stern Guard.
Yep.
Blade Guard.
Yep. Stern Guard,
the Vanguard vets with the lethal hits. All things that are kind of incentivized.
Dude, Vanguard vets are only strength 5, AP 1 damage. On the charge, I believe they already have lethal hits on the charge.
They have lethal as a base data slate ability.
They take the +1 to wound like a champion, in addition to having lethals. And then they have a 1 command point strat to have sustained as well. So you're talking, that strength 5 AP 1, you're like, it's all of a sudden rerolling to hit, rolling 1s to wound, lethal sustained, and +1 to wound. And you're like, okay, you might have a 2-up save, mate. He's 30 dice. I don't know what to tell you. It starts looking pretty good all of a sudden.
Yeah. So I know we talked about some of the cool enhancements, but there isn't the other one we didn't talk about is the Spiritus Ferrum. Add 1 to the attacks the characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons. Once per battle at the start of any phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 1 of the attacks characteristics of melee weapons equipped by all other models in the bearer's unit as well. This army detachment seems to favor Terminators, and Thunderhammers are pretty good,
I have one I like it just slightly better. Judica.
Sure.
6 Blade Guard. Putting the stat on them with this enhancement. Who can charge that with confidence? Angron can't charge that with confidence.
That's a great spot there. And with their ability to reroll 1s of their vulnerable saves in the fight phase, and take all these other like bonuses, oath and things. I mean, the stuff that Marines get plus something like this, they're blenders. No one wants to engage with that.
So here's the other cute way to use Cannock's second Oath of Moment. Because naturally there's always going to be your natural play pattern of here's a thing on objective I've got to kill. Do I need Oath to achieve this or not? Tick that box as you tick it. But then the second Oath of Moment, this is something we've learned from Ultramarines players, those spoiled brats. They usually put the second Oath on the thing they want their opponent to not use next turn out of fear. Like they use the second Oath as a deterrent. So this is something that Cannock can offer this detachment. Be like, well, here's the thing I'm gonna mollywop just because I can.
It's right in front of you. That's getting eliminated. And here's the thing: you're gonna watch me do that, and you're not gonna want to bring that thing up.
And then Canuck's going to deep strike here. Just see a sliver of your best unit in the backfield because it's a single 50 mil base. And can you send out Dante and 6 Sandguard next turn? Because I could just overwatch him very, very nastily with rerolling to hit, reroll 1s to wound, +1 to wound. I could build into that. Let's say I'm an absolute baller and ball out for a redeemer. You know, so the thing you have to use to kill the redeemer now has Oath of Moment on it as well. Can you bring that out?
So this seems like a fun detachment. We're talking about like everything you can do in that perfect situation. So of course your player here, forewarned is forearmed. You now know some of the stuff this detachment can do.
Correct.
Probably make it a little bit easier to play into. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Raven Guard, and we'll also talk about our experience with some of these conventions that we have.
Raven Guard or White Scars?
Let's go White Scars. How about that? Dealer's choice. Maybe we do both. Maybe we do both.
Yeah, I can do them both.
All right. Well, we'll see you in just a minute.
FTN is brought to you by Discount Games Inc. Please visit them at www.discountgamesinc.com. And don't forget to ask Jay about ways to save even more on your hobby projects.
Hey, everybody, we are back. I'm still Paul Murphy. Got everybody here. Thanks for checking out our sponsor. Please do that. If you haven't done it in a while, know that there are some cool stuff coming out, and they can help you get some pre-orders coming your way. And I do want to mention that these detachment rules and everything else have been provided to us by Games Workshop to go over, and we really appreciate that. And Subodh Khan is one of the coolest looking figures we've seen in a long time. Like that jet bike, that sweeping pose, of course, evocative of action and things we love, and it's in a chapter that people really like a lot as well.
Yeah, where are we getting more of those bikes from? That's my question.
Now it exists. Now it exists.
Right. We got the foot in the door.
I need to read the lore of this bike. And where it supposedly comes from, because it looks like something from the Great Crusade. It does. It looks like a Heresy era pattern, something or other.
Could a Berserker drive one?
Yes.
All right.
Would you play it as a Lord Invocatus?
I mean, the Lord Invocatus, Juggernaut Lord, or just give us our own flying corn bikers.
I do find it interesting that we now have 2 special characters on bike for the entire of the Astartes super faction. And, when we go into the rules of Subodh, you will see that there are many similarities between Samael for the Dark Angels and Subodh Khan, because why wouldn't you copy something so excellent and so superb? But very unique bikes for both these lads. Super unique bikes.
It's a grab bike. If you haven't seen the figure yet, please check out the model, because again, absolutely awesome. Got so much cool stuff going on. 4+ invulnerable save, move 12, toughness 5, 3+ save regular, 4+ invulnerable save, 8 wounds.
8 wounds, baby.
Yeah,
that's the winning number.
Yeah, and armed with an onslaught Gatling cannon, devastating wounds, 24-inch range, so effective. What is that? 36-inch threat range. Yeah. 8 attacks, hits on 2s, string 5, 0 AP, but damage 1, but it's devastating wounds. So does that AP really matter all the time?
Absolutely. Yeah. Not that often.
I don't think so. Yeah, you're going to get some stuff through. Melee on the other side, Stormtooth, Lance, anti-monster 4+, anti-vehicle 4+. How often, that's going to be very useful. Attack 6, hits on 2s, string 6, -2 AP, 2 damage apiece. And also has a power sword. And if he wants to use it, Lance, I forgot to mention, I think on top of that, of Stormtooth. Amazing.
Now, an interesting thing, the power sword has got 8 attacks versus 6 attacks of the lance, and immediately everyone's going to be like, oh, why is he bothering with the power sword? Why would I ever need the power sword? Well, so there is a couple of situations. So we know that the only pretty much unit this guy's going to be able to join is Outriders. What do Outriders do? Each time model this unit makes a melee attack, if it charged, improve the strength and damage by 1. If you're just whacking away at intercessors, berserkers, and Astartes variant, you're going to be a strength 5, strength 6 AP 2 damage already. You're not really, the extra 2 attacks is probably and arguably better than being strength 7 lance
Listen,
with the same AP 2 damage. More attacks.
You're going to be killing everyone's 470. You need those 2 extra attacks with the power sword. This is a blessing.
It might just be better. Yeah. He has some very good special rules. The first of which is exactly the same as what Samael has. So its units able to shoot and declare a charge at turn in which it advanced or fell back. If you're already able to do so, a la if you're in a Stormlance or a Stormlance-esque variant or Assault Doctrine in Gladius, you'll get +1 to advance and +1 to charge. So you're going minimum 14 and then declaring a 2d6 +1 charge if you already have advance and charge. And then in addition, this is the kicker. Because this guy is going to make such a frustrating, like, premium harassment unit. Each time this model's unit makes a normal advance, a fallback, or charge move, it can move horizontally through terrain features. Now, we know one of the biggest drawbacks to Outriders. I personally like Outriders a lot. I love the upskin that they've had on their data sheet ability. But we know the downside of them is that the big old base has to go around walls. Well, Sabodin's like, walls... I don't really know what they are, and we're just going to go straight through. And I think it makes for a very dynamic unit. That
I like it that even though he's on a grab bike and you can kind of get part of that, he's like everyone else. Nope, right through the wall.
Yeah, I'm going to figure. It's pathfinding it for him, mate. He's figuring the way through the walls.
Yeah.
He should have had a real big bull bar on the front. He's just punching it through the holes.
Love it.
But there is a very, very tasty combo with him. So the detachment for White Skies is a Spear Point Task Force, which is an upskinned Stormlance, which is the most thematic thing that they could have possibly done. I mean, it doesn't make sense to do any other detachment, right?
I mean, no?
Don't believe so. I'm not sure if Paul is lagging. I'm waiting for him to take over and put me in my place.
Oh, I'm back. I'm sorry, Lee. I did jump out there for a second. What on earth did you do in the 10 seconds that I was gone?
You won't believe it, and you're probably going to have to restart the recording.
I talk about Sabodin's lance. No, but the spear tip is the same. You get your same eligible to declare a charge in turn in which you advanced or fell back. So Sabodin in this detachment will have that +1. And then in addition, here's the spice. At the end of the fight phase, if Sabodin Khan unit from your army destroyed one or more enemy units this phase and is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can make a normal move of up to 6 inches, which is a normal move. And his rule says he can go back through walls with that move. So he doesn't have shoot and scoot. He has punch and bail? I don't know. Yeah. A new term is coined.
It's flail and bail.
Flail and bail. I like that. That's better. This is why you're the host.
Oh my goodness. You're right. That's very plain as day. Normal move. Why not do a little ruckus and then get to whatever the other side is?
Now, they didn't change a huge amount about the enhancements, but there is one here that absolutely jumps out to me. Hunter's Eye is an Adeptus Dice model only. 2 of the others, I believe, are for mounted. No, only one of them is for mounted models, which is the last one, which is still very good. And this is for Hunter's Eye. Ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit have sustained 1 and ignores cover. You could put that on just a lieutenant, cheap as chips, and attach him to, 10 Hellblasters. You can attach him to, 10 Sternguard. And giving them lethal already, because that's what the lieutenant gives you. You get lethal, you get sustained, and you get ignores cover. And all of a sudden, you have a very, very potent shooting asset.
People forget about Hellblasters. I mean, you see them come out every now and then, and people seem to be always kind of like impressed when people find a little home for them. But I think people do often forget that Hellblasters are a potent unit.
One of my favorite units is Azrael with 10 Hellblasters. It's been one of my most consistent performing units of the edition. For the shootback, Azrael gives them 4-up invulnerable save, and he gives them sustained. This thing is giving a sustained and ignores cover. And you can put it on any old character. That's a lot cheaper than Azrael. You won't get the extra CP or the punchy stabbiness that Azrael brings. But for a much smaller price point, you're giving possibly better actual straight line damage output because you have ignores cover as well. So I'm a big fan of a myriad of different combos with this. I mean, you can just put it on intercessors if you want. Like AP1 ignores cover on checks notes 40 bolter shots. We talked about the horde meta being a thing at the moment. Well, no, it's not. There is none. Cool. Everything that the eagle eye can see, like Legolas looking at the Isengard orcs, like they're all dead. It's just Legolas with a sniper rifle. They're all gone. It takes them all out.
My goodness, this is going to be a good detachment too. I think real themed. People are going to find some combos. They're going to kind of reinvigorate some units that they haven't played with in a while. I do want to point out the White Scars color scheme is pretty awesome. If you go that route, also I like the white shaded with the browns and the cool icons and all the the upgrades and stuff you can put on them.
Putting my bias aside, is it the nicest loyalist color scheme? Enshrined one, not like no fans.
I mean,
yeah,
we all have our personal feelings on our chapters.
Yeah, well, I think it's nicer than Dark Angels. I think it is.
It is cool. I love the striking, the different, the contrasting colors and the icons.
He can't do it, guys. He can't do it.
It's not.
Being bigger than my own personal bias, put it aside and said that it was better. And Paul can't do it. Nah, he hasn't got it in him.
Every time I see one of them, I do seem like I'd like to try my hand at painting that color scheme.
I don't know why. I just don't seem to be able to paint anything like the box art. So I picked up the Raven Guard guy, and I was like, I'm gonna paint it like a magpie. It's gonna be black and white, right?
Yes.
And so, but yeah, painting white armor, even though it's off-white, it's taking me forever to do this guy. But I don't know. I still think it looks cool than all the bog standard box art.
It's one of the coolest things about this hobby is doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do you know much about magpies?
Yeah, they're around here. Very smart. Sometimes they dive bomb you.
Oh, really? You have magpies in Canada?
Yeah.
Wow. Are they famous in Canada also for making their nests out of the most random shiny stuff that they can find?
No.
Okay,
I mean, they are known to collect that stuff, but they don't make their nest.
I don't want to go too off on a tangent here.
I was getting to a point of telling Tanya she should put some random wire and nonsense on his base. He's just been gathering shiny stuff and tinsel. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
My goodness. Let me take us back to the stratagems over here for the White Scars. And Hunter's Instincts, I think, is an amazing one. It is a 1 command point stratagem. In your opponent's movement phase, just after an enemy unit ends a normal move or fallback move, target 1 Adeptus Astartes infantry unit or Adeptus Astartes mounted unit from your army that is within 9 inches of that enemy unit. You cannot target someone in engagement range, but you can make a normal move of up to 6 inches.
Wait a minute, Paul. Does that mean I could go with Saboden and some Outriders? I could go through a wall, kill a unit, move 6 inches through a wall so they can't see me. So then when they try and charge me, I move another 6 inches, and I move 12, and I just moved another 12 by these 2 interactions.
Yes, and if you don't want them to do that, they have to stop 9 inches away from you. So they got that whole failure. I hope they have a command point.
Yeah, dude, so good. He's like I said, Saboden Khan and either 3 or 6 Outriders. You can go with the ATVs as well if you really want to, but I don't think it's necessary for this because it's functioning as a melee unit. And it just becomes one of the best harassment units in the game. It's just going to clear the midboard for you every turn and then bounce out.
This isn't limited to the mounted stuff. So, the Hellblaster unit you were just talking about, run up there, roast somebody, and then scoot, because then people come and try to answer it. That could be big.
Works
the Blade Guard we keep talking about,
Yep. Works really good on Eradicators as well, where you get into melter range of something, blow it up, and then they come to get you, and you try and you bunk out, you get out of there before they can charge and tie you up.
You get one of those at the start of their turn.
Mm-hmm. One of the ones I really like because it's also, I'm looking for things to take Saboden and Code to the moon. Spear Thrust and Saber Swing, fantastically named White Scars stratagem for 1 CP. It's in the fight phase. 1 just a Astartes unit, a bit of Astartes unit. Select either Lance or Lethals. You get that until the end of the phase. If it is a mounted unit, you get both. So this is the reason why you might want to use that power sword, because it's already going to have Lance if you use this. It's going to have 8 attacks at 6/2 Lance lethals. It's no good having double Lance on the Lance, so this might get you over the line a little bit better into the 2 wound variants.
This detachment also has one of those go back into reserves things, the withdraw and regroup at the end of your opponent's fight phase. One Adeptus Astartes mounted or Adeptus fly vehicle unit from your army that's not within engagement range or one or more enemy units, remove from the unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserve. Can you imagine like a couple of scout units, couple of outrider units or whatever that are just basically jumping all over the board while you're doing those shenanigans with the eradicators and hellblasters and stuff coming up the center of the field?
Yeah.
Seems good.
I've done it with way less rules. Yeah, way less good stuff, value to build around that. And I've still given it a go. But yeah, I love this detachment. This is just dripping in the goodness that I want for White Scars.
I love this character too. I think he's going to enable, kind of blow the doors off, like what the White Scars have kind of been wanting to do for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
and it seems like it's given, and this attachment seems like it's given it to him in addition to the character.
Well, it's an interesting thing, yeah. So, Kasara Khan is the named character here, and an unfortunate reality is, I think Sabodin completely overshadows Kasaro for what he adds to the army. Kasaro's fine; he's totally fine, but Sabodin does so much more for the army, which is an interesting thing because he's lesser rank. Sabodin's lesser rank than Kasaro, yeah. Or was Kasaro just a company captain as well?
I thought he was a chapter master.
I thought he was chapter master as well. But I know Ethan Shan is, and Shrike. Ethan's a little bit better than Shrike, just on things. They do different. They give you different abilities, and they're both very, very, very good, if not on par. But Ethan's a little bit better than Shrike, in my humble opinion. And you can say the same for Lysander and old Anvil Chin, Torgaradon, head like a fire hydrant that lad's got. And you can say the same for Adrax and Vulcan. Vulcan's, I think, slightly better than Adrax. And this one is just a slightly bit the other way, which I think is interesting.
Oh. So Corsaro Khan is the captain of the third.
That's why. That's why they're more on par the other way. Yeah. So we don't have the chapter master for White Scars in model form, which is interesting. Well, we didn't for the longest time for Raven Guard either until they brought out Shan.
Right.
Shrike became the chapter master.
Shrike was,
and then stepped aside.
He's now stepped down. Yeah.
He was also captain of the third company, and Uriel Ventress is captain of the third company.
Captain of the fourth.
Oh, fourth. Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say a lot of action happening from the third companies.
What's Kato captain of? Second? First?
Maybe second.
Either way, whichever one that is, it's the worst company, obviously.
Wow.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel. My goodness.
Look, I am not a dedicated
He is the second company.
Yeah. I'm not a dedicated Ultramarines hater. I'm not. I'm truly, hand on my heart, I am not.
Sure.
I resent the state of the game where it's taken us this long before some of these other ones get a little bit back, because I find the other ones a lot more interesting than the Ultramarines, and yet when I go to play my Astartes, I'm like, I guess they're Ultramarines. And now I'm taking Ultramarines down a peg because I'm trying to champion everyone else and be like, play the interesting guys, the ones with anyway.
Well, I mean, there are some devoted fans of these chapters, and I love it that they're getting some cool rules and cool models, and I do think that there are some convincing alternatives to what is seen as a rule set that seems to lend itself to a certain chapter.
And look, I'm not speaking to the Ultramarines devotees and lovers of the Cobalt. All the power to yous. All the power to yous. I'm talking to me and my other fellow filthy metagamers, where we're all just it doesn't matter what color we are, Ultramarines.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. Well, look, hopefully I stay stable enough as we check, look, players of these factions, you're going to love them. Check them out. And thanks for y'all's patience with me. I'm floating the internet where in right now.
Yeah, a little unstable, but it is totally fine. Also, I should tell you some points. Like, Sabodin Khan is only 115 points, guys. He's a bargain. And Kanok is only 100 himself. For that pile of value that he brings, it's, really well costed.
Digging it. Change gears just a little bit. We were at some conventions, or some of us were at some conventions this past weekend in different parts of the world, and it was really cool to see Warhammer, like people's first experiences with Warhammer. So, was at New York Comic Con at the Warhammer booth, and was also a paint and take happening there, and seeing people float and see their first Warhammer models, and then see people go and get a model in their hand and paint a model and come up with some true, I mean, actually amazing models, and want to put them right on a demo table and get them playing. It was very fun to do and very fun to see.
It's always lovely. Sorry, Tanya.
At the paint and take, I'm always curious. Do they have contrast as well as like the standard like base and layer paints?
So recently, it's almost been always contrast paints.
Mhm.
You know, because you can get, but and then a model is ready to accept the contrast paints. It's kind of like the first thing you give them. It's primed and ready to go. And there are, I think, some layer like metallics if they want to go that route with them, but it's mostly the contrast style. And those things that like brand new people can do with them always astound me. I mean, they bring up their models and show them off. They're like, "I just did this." I'm like, "What is that? How many models have you painted?" It's my first one. Like, are you kidding? I can't even do that now. I can't even do what you did.
Yeah, I think contrast is like really like how long would it take? Do you think? How long would you? Because the paint takes is what, usually half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, but it's about a half-hour experience.
Yeah, correct. How much longer would it have to be if we were, you have to do 2 layers of this one, and then here's the shade.
Well,
got to wait half an hour for that to dry. You're already out of time. The contrast really lets people get results quicker.
Yeah, when you get contrast explained to you, and then it's that you don't have anything that you're contradicting in your brain. You know, you're just doing it. It seems to yield some amazing results. You know, like quicker than the other style.
Now, I personally. I personally prefer the base layer shade highlight system for my results, but I totally see why contrast is a thing and why it's so beloved and adopted.
Well, all these paints are tools, and you see people utilize the tools in different ways. So I'm all about that. And I don't want to talk about necessarily the different styles of painting, other than the fact that these folks, getting their hands on something that they had fun doing, like just the painting side, and then wanted to come up and learn more about how to continue that. And it was really, really fun and heartwarming to interact with them while they were, doing that, and getting to talk to them about the hobby, like some of the brushes, some of the styles, some of the techniques. A lot of people also came up and they'd see a paint scheme and they go, "I want to replicate that paint scheme. How can I do it?" And like, "Oh, well, let's go check out the paints. And this is here's a recipe. Here's the Citadel color app that tells you what colors to use and in what order to apply them if you want to do it this way."
That is a great app, actually. I really enjoy that app. I use my paint collection is extensive, but even though then, like, I still kind of have certain colors that I'm drawn to, but sometimes I'll go into the app to be like, maybe I should like branch out a little bit. What can I do to, make this color that's in the app or whatever? And I get a little bit more use out of my existing collection by doing that.
I love that, because you can go and look by model or color, which is one of the coolest things too in the app. But so it's very helpful. Look, I paint. I like to paint. But I've got my way of painting, and that may not be their way of painting. And so, if folks asked what colors should they use, thankfully there's a resource in addition to the tutorials and stuff that are online to kind of get them on the right track as they're trying to see something and try to replicate it the best they can. Also doing demos for most of the weekend of the different game systems. We had Age of Sigmar, we had a Warhammer 40,000, and then of course some Kill Team stuff happening, and having people get their hands on the game itself is also fun. And this is why you're standing next to the the life-size Terminator, and all the convention is happening around you, and the fact that people are coming and spending time with us at the Warhammer booth amidst all the other cool things at the convention was nice.
Yeah, it was an awesome time. I mean, and like you said, Paul, a lot of people walking up. Several people told me that they'd seen the game or they'd seen it in some capacity. They'd always been interested in it. A lot of folks, it was that from a distance, the games in general seemed daunting. And we've talked about it in regards to the rules and everything. But when you talk about spearhead, combat patrol, and kill team, it's just not a it's pretty introductory in a lot of ways, and it's not so overwhelming. You're not sitting there looking at 3 different books and all the stratagems and everything. It's a little more controlled in the environment of what they can engage in. And so as you go through and you're showing people, okay, well, you rolled a hit, you rolled a wound, and then the other person rolls to save. Or in kill team, you rolled a hit and then you save, and then it's damage. And it's I thought that a lot of people, it clicked for them, and then also sharing with them the ability to just go paint a model, right? There were a lot of people that could see the demo material of what we had, and some great Age of Sigmar models that we have on display. But in some cases, it was explaining to folks, they're like, well, I really want to do this. And I was like, well, go look in the display case. We had a progression of a gray model, or we had the sprue, then we had a gray model, then we had like spray painted a model, and then they'd done the detail over it, and then they'd done a wash and highlight and everything. And so showing folks that, I think it really helped them get into the comfort zone of it. And the paint and take was huge, and the team down there did an amazing job of helping people really ease into it. It was a great experience. It was awesome to see people that were introduced to the hobby or were able to grow into it some more from that.
Some of the stock was, a lot of kind of slanted towards introductory stuff. We also had some exclusives, that you can get there, or things you could get there for the first time. The new Space Marine plushies, the new holiday red Gobbo plushie. Those kind of fun to see and have there. It's always cool to come by the event store. So if you are in an area where they're going to be there, come check it out. But in specific to Comic-Con, there was a lot. Just I know we talked about it, but just so many people that had never experienced Warhammer before, but it was a cool place to come and get exposed to it. So you could, people walked away fans of the novels. People bought some of the novels. They got into a faction. They got into one of the box games. The starter sets are pretty awesome for the fact you could have 2 forces to go play with, or you could start to customize and build your own from what you wanted, and it was neat. And that people getting their first hands on paints in the paint and take, it became, you could tell that was going to be a cool hobby for them, was just the painting, and they come up and were really interested in it. And that is I know we talk a lot about the playing side of it on this show, but that hobby side of it is absolutely living and breathing out there. And once people get their hands on it, they fall in love with it. It was it's nice. It's really nice. What was the vibe down there in PAX?
Yeah, so I was at PAX, not in an official capacity. I was just go hang out with a bunch of people who hadn't been to Australia before. Had a bunch of the events team coming in from the United States and England, and I wanted to show them a good Aussie time. Didn't manage to get out as much as we wanted, but I got for any locals listening, I got them to South Melbourne Market, got them some pretty good stuff. Anyway, yeah, we had a great time. The paint and take only had about 20 places, so only about 20 people per sitting, and man, they were booked out. Like at one point at 10 o'clock in the morning, they'd booked out the sessions till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and had to turn people away. There was that many people keen on it, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be like tripling the capacity next year, which is excellent. The little demo tables they were playing some kill team and some spearhead, always seem to have like 5 people playing, like one almost, old school red shirt game master G-dub style, which I adore. I love that's one of the things I loved about going into Games Workshop, where like you'd have almost a game master running it, the staff member who'd be like holding up their sword, be like, roll your dice, make the charge, kind of stuff. And it's so nice just to hear that with big packs of people watching on. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. I'm handing people the dice like, here is your grand hammer. Take the plague wind, cast it across the battlefield.
Yeah, dude, it's that stuff brings me back so much. I remember going to some of the like Games Workshop at Burke Street Mall for any other Victorians, and playing like me and 3 of my buddies would play against someone else and their 2 buddies, and we'd get 1 squad each, and we'd have to roll to see who got to pick theirs first, and whoever went first picked the Terminators. and whoever got last got the scouts. And it was always that kind of so much fun, man. And you had one squad, and you still loved every moment of it.
Oh, it was such a great time. The next thing we got going on coming up pretty soon is the World Championships of Warhammer. So folks that have been competing for their spots in that, in addition to the grand narrative, going to be happening in Atlanta. That way. Actually, I think it's more like that way. Not that far away. In just about 3 weeks, and I'm really looking forward to it.
It's very far from me, by the way. Extremely far.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure which direction it is from me.
Yeah,
I
you
think
just point
it's-
up.
Yeah, it's that way.
I think it's that way for me.
Yeah, really, really looking forward to it as we going to be doing some coverage from that. So keep your eyes peeled for the time slots and when that will be happening. But it's going to be extremely fun to be bringing to be seeing some of the best players in the world competing for their country and personal glory in their individual game systems, which is always a blast.
Now, in previous, World Championship metas that we've had, you've had like a 2 or 3 factions that Paul and I would go in being like, one of these 3 is probably going to take it. I couldn't tell you what's going to take it this year right now.
No,
it would be a list of like 8 or 9 factions.
Which is anybody's game.
It's going to be really, really exciting, guys. There's like 2 Astartes variants, World Eaters, Death Guard, Knights, Orcs, like just so many Eldari, so many new Drukhari. We don't even know where that's going to sit in the meta yet. Could be an absolute foil to the top tables by the time the meta forms.
And when we know some of the best players in every faction from around the globe are going to be there fighting, so it's going to be really cool to see how things shake up into that. And you're opening a great point is that we did just see a big shakeup on the meta happen in Las Vegas, but there are 100-player plus events happening all over the world. And Adam, you actually you pulled these stats for us while we were casting from Vegas, and of the last event since June of 100 players or more, 19 different factions have brought home the gold.
Yeah.
Brought home
so
the gold.
That's since pretty much the last MFM, pretty much.
Yeah.
In large, so since the big balance shift where Knights and the Knight variants got changed and all those things, Thousand Suns, we've had 19 different factions win 100+ player events. Usually that means 6-rounder, and that's just what a statement to the balance of the game right now. It's fantastic.
Going into the LVO Part 2 on day 2, 23 of the 27 available factions were undefeated.
By
various players.
I saw that. I was very, very happy. Yeah, and this is across multiple, continents, multiple nations, multiple terrain formats as well. Yeah, Warhammer is doing very well out there.
Yeah, so it's really going to be it's a brewer's paradise, and really something we're going to be watching the generals more than just the army list that they're taking. So a lot more to come on that. Thank y'all for joining us. Thanks a lot for liking, sharing, subscribing. This one, hopefully the tech works its magic and we're able to pull this together. But leave some comments down there. Let us know if there's something you're working on. Are you excited about these Space Marine detachments? And we want to hear from you. Make those algorithms do the algorithmic thing. Maybe check us out and on the various other aggregators and hit those 5 stars. But we will be back next week, everybody. We'll see y'all soon.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.